Breaking news. 20 chat. We may talk to you. We're going to talk to you, right? And then we can edit out later. Chat, I'll talk to you. Don't worry. This is for you, nerds. Chat, I want your feedback on this. Narballs, I'm going to get to your question. Breaking news. 24-Hour Fitness, maybe the largest that I know of. Maybe Planet Fitness is bigger by money, or I don't know who's bigger. But 24-Hour Fitness, really, really big. Commercial gym company here in America, and it sounds like overseas. I think a bunch of them are owned by Magic Johnson, at least multiple.
Some ones in Southern California, I think.
Maybe going bankrupt. We briefly talked with Brandon Campbell.
Yep.
The home gym, Basement Brandon, the home gym expert. And we talked about environment. We talked about equipment, obviously, a bunch. We talked also if people will go back to gyms when this mess is over. If everyone's sold out Rogue Fitness, Sorinex Fitness, and every other fitness under the sun, and everyone's got a home gym, is there a reason to go to a normal gym? And why? Why would you go to a normal gym if you do have the squat rack? Connor on the way over brought up his little thing. He's like, well, you might just get tired of being creative, right? Sometimes you just want to do a leg curl machine, and you don't want to put a band around your ankle that's pitching your cankle and your leg hair. Yep. Sometimes that gets annoying. But cost effectiveness, there's other commercial gyms here that cost $150, $200 a month. You put that together over 4 years, you got yourself a squat rack. Some people say it might be boring to train alone. You may be right. You may be right.
So I actually have a comment from Brandon Franklin, different Brandon, saying this. I think you're going to see a lot of pieces being sold out of these people who are stocking up their home gyms. Depends on the athlete person. A lot of athletes will ditch their gyms altogether, or at least for the most part, because they went all out and just kitted out their house or whatever. And that's may cause some local gyms to go under, and I think that's a real possibility. I think my feeling is that some of the people are going to start working. People who've been working out at home during this stuff, some of them are going to be so glad to get back to a community style environment that they will ignore what's in their garage, and they'll sell it off within a year. And other people are going to stick with it for a while and realize that they missed the community part. And 6 months to a year, they're going to go back to a regular gym. And some people are never going to go back. That's just my gut.
I think there's multiple layers, right? In chat, you all are talking about it too, and I think you're bringing up these layers. One, I don't know who's building the home gyms. In my head, the people that are really building their home gyms hard, and maybe it's because I'm stuck in this community, but it's the competitive powerlifter that has meets coming up in the fall. Yeah, those are the people really pimping out their gyms. I don't know if the regular commercial gym goer right now is buying a gym. I don't think they are. Maybe they bought some dumbbells. Maybe they bought KaizenTraining.com's home workout. Maybe they're following a yoga routine on YouTube.
They got bands.
Maybe they bought bands that they're not using just to feel good about it. I don't know if the regular gym... So we have multiple... Let's list our people out. We have people that have commercial gym memberships that do not use them.
Yes.
We have commercial gym memberships that use them. We have serious lifters that have commercial gym memberships and use it religiously, right? So those 3 category of people. Then I think we have kind of a CrossFit group class community people where they do, what's the other one? F45 or something, or Orange Theory, CrossFit, that kind of person. That's a membership, or they only take classes. And then I think you have a hardcore lifter that goes to hardcore gyms that maybe doesn't compete. And then you have the elite of the elite, which again in everything is the smallest percentage, right? The LeBron James, the Russ Swoll, the Bryce Lewis, the people that are really competitive take this as a full-time career, right? And then they are obviously having to invest in their career, so they're buying a home gym. So we have multiple people here, and I don't think in that career, I honestly think it's the people that do not go to a commercial gym but buy the membership that are going to affect business the greatest, right? Because it's the greatest amount of people. It's the largest population is the people that buy a commercial gym membership and do not use it. That's the vast majority, and that's why we have obesity issue here in America, right? The elite are the smallest group, and then we have that middle group. And I think your statement hits it on the head of that middle group. I think some of maybe the ex-football player bought a squat rack and he's squatting at home and maybe enjoy it. I don't know. I think the biggest question to me is that majority, the next majority to me, which is the gym goer that goes 3 to 4 times a week. Maybe they kind of squat, but mostly they're on machines or cardio. They're the typical commercial gym goer. Where are they going to go? Especially if 24-hour fitness goes bankrupt. Are they going to just get fat? Or are they going to find an alternate route?
Well, I'm going to get to the base of that question. Them going bankrupt doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to
close
go away.
everything.
Yeah,
Right.
They're not.
True.
It's not a liquidation
100%.
thing. Mostly,
But
those
maybe
are
some.
Yeah, some of the. I would imagine that lower performing sites might close, but some of it, I think, too, is that they suspended membership payments. And
I don't know if they did.
They did.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they
very
did.
kind.
Yeah.
Shout out. Look, I bash a lot of people and things. That's very kind of them. Because I didn't think they would. Me and Connor were talking about that on the way here. And I said, well, why would they go bankrupt? Like, it's not my first thought in this epidemic or stress. It isn't like, oh, I better cancel this gym membership, especially if I don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't think that way, right? You're thinking about food. You're thinking about work. You're thinking about how am I going to make money? What are my kids doing? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe if you're super frugal, you're the guy calling right up like, I can't go for 4 weeks. I'd like to suspend it. Maybe. But that makes sense now to me that they did that. Shout out to the gym owners that did that. Even though I respect ones that didn't either because it's their livelihood. I see both sides.
Yeah, I see both sides of that too. I have had a 24-hour membership since, I want to say, 95 or 96.
Oof.
Something like that.
Yeah.
A really long time. But part of the reason that I kept it, even when I was, involved with a powerlifting gym for a dozen years or more, is that it was $20 a month, and I don't care about $20 bucks a month. I mean, I got it cheap, and it stayed cheap, and my son and daughter-in-law in town were like, we paid for them to have single club membership so that they would go. They don't necessarily their financial situation because they were born. Well, they're your age, and you know what it's like. I do. Out there, it's you guys graduated from high school into a bad economic situation, and then coming out of college, and then there's this one. And
they told us you go to college, you get a job, and everyone went to college, and now they got student loans and no job. So if you're on Twitch, go ahead and subscribe. Money's short over here. I was born in the Great Depression, 2007.
Here you go. Here's another comment that I'm going to throw out here too from Adam Pullman, big strong jacked on Instagram.
That's Alan Thrall's stepbrother.
What?
No, it's not. But he calls himself Adam Paul. His alternate ego.
Oh,
Alan Thrall and Adam Paul. Isn't it Adam Paul?
Pullman.
Adam Paul and Alan Thrall.
So it'll impact the community across the board, that's for sure. How long remains to be seen for those who didn't realize they could make the same or better progress or enjoy the solitude or 24/7 convenience will remain. However, for every one of them, there will be someone who, without the community or a team/partner, will struggle. From the ashes of the fallout, there will be an influx of secondhand equipment available, and there are likely to be plenty of new gyms springing up as a result to fill that void. And probably, a lot of people have bought for the number of people who bought rogue stuff when they could get it. There are people who are buying stuff off Craigslist and paying too much money and whatever, but it's not super good quality equipment, and then they're going to be faced with replacing it. At some point.
I don't know. We talked a little bit with Brandon. I talked here on Twitch, and people are saying like, the convenience of working out at home, and I think if you're that, and it doesn't even come down to motivation and stuff always either. I don't feel like it's always so about like, well, I'm the hardest worker and I'm motivated and I can train alone and I can train anywhere, because I do feel like I'm that human often, but there is something about a vibe, and this is another whole other point that I think even some of all the categories I brought up, the elite of the elite, all the way to the commercial gym person, and I think I've been lucky enough to have it on certain days or occasions, or gyms, but a true environment with like-minded individuals where you're not going there to be the extrovert or to get your social time. You're literally just going there as like a team environment, and you can really get stronger and get better. It really is, for lack of a better term, motivating. There's a couple workouts I had with Barkwan and Omar and Nadeem and Evan and some of my homies in LA where, I'd stay there for 2 weeks and we'd wake up every morning together, get there at 7 in the morning, I'm not a morning person. Omar's not. Like Bart is. Some of the guys are. But you get in there, the music's going, you're all kind of tying your shoes up, and it's like a slow ramp up into what we're getting into, and then you have an amazing workout. You're high-fiving, you're not even communicating, you're just putting on plates, flashing numbers. You and I have had some of those training sessions together in the past. I think there's something like that if that does become the norm, which it's not, clearly. It's very, very rare to find that, but I think it is possible in a lot of places. I've had it at other gyms too. I've had sessions like that in New York, hanging out with my buddy Kenny and some people, but I think that is the real reason to go to a gym. The equipment's a clear one, right? It's expensive, variety. Number two is just general environment. Just even be able to people watch. Having loud music, which you can't always do at home depending on where you live. People watching, et cetera, et cetera. 3 would be then the next layer of like-minded individuals, people that are trying to get the same result you are. If you're a bodybuilder, they're all really pushing their bodies to the limit. If you're a powerlifter, you're pushing yourselves to the limit. If you're a cardio bunny, you're a yogi, you're all trying to there for the same reasons. And then I think number 4 or 5 is that deeper layer of this clicks, and that's when all those things are turned up to 100.
Obviously, like I said, spent more than a dozen years in powerlifting gyms, not just one, but a couple of them. And this, Saturday morning dynamic squats used to be kind of my favorite, even though I hated getting out of bed for them, because of that rhythm you were talking about. If you're squatting with 2 or 3 other people or maybe more, and it's just that nonverbal communication and just watching people's sets develop. Because a lot of people start off shitty.
Sure.
I'm one of those people that starts off shitty, and then by the last, 3 sets, you look like you could probably keep going for another, 6 or 8 sets. That feeling, that's one of the things I miss about not being in an environment like that. A thing that was always missing outside of the sense of community among people was the sense of a place in the larger community. And the places that do accomplish that, the gyms that do accomplish that, I think they get the kind of strong connection that is going to sustain them, and people working out at home are just not going to get that. You just can't get between those two things, that the sense of community of lifters and then the sense of lifters in the community.
I think so too, and I think it goes so many different ways, because majority of people probably listening to this at some point has probably been the one power lifter at a commercial gym. You're the only one squatting in the corner, you're the only one deadlifting, et cetera, et cetera. But even those that have never, and you kind of you grew up, quote unquote, in a strength gym or powerlifting gym, I think, not to talk shit, but a lot of these strength gyms are doing it wrong too. You see other people squatting together or whatever, or bodybuilders around you, but even that, the community isn't always there. It turns into a commercial gym vibe, but you're powerlifting. That's the only difference. The movements you're doing are different than that's going on in the commercial gym, but everything's the same. People aren't talking to each other, or they're not. And there are some gyms out there that have a good community for sure. And I do think, everyone wants to talk shit on CrossFit, but there's so many good aspects of CrossFit. That's something they have done. I've done CrossFit once or twice, an actual class, and dropped into gyms, but I've worked with the community from the elite to the regular gym goers a lot over the last 10 years, and they become friends. They go out, they train on Fridays at 5:00, they get a workout, and that's who they're going to grab a beer with afterwards. That they're actual friends. They're cheering on each other, they're texting each other yo, where are you, we got to train in 15 minutes, etc. They're talking about their favorite fitness brands or their favorite CrossFitter. It becomes an actual community, and that's something sadly I think powerlifters and weightlifters and bodybuilders, they're too self-absorbed, because you normally automatically go into competition, and they're too niche or cliquey. They're the powerlifters are anti, even within fucking powerlifting, they're anti-IPF, or they're anti-US deadlift bar, and they're anti-drugs, or they're for drugs, and then they're anti-bodybuilder, and then bodybuilders are anti-powerlifter because they're fat and they're hairy, and right, these things just go in circles and circles and circles, rather than just we all use a barbell, we all kind of use some dumbbells, we can all try to get towards our goals a little bit. And that's what I think CrossFit does really well, where I don't necessarily believe with their training modalities all the time, but we're all kind of here to look a little better, feel a little better, move a little better. Like, okay, cool. We can get down with that, and we all kind of just go at it.
Yeah.
Should we hop into a real question?
Sure.
We're getting nerdy automatically. So, what's your opinion on daily undulating periodization and intersession auto-regulation for strength? I don't know what you mean by like my opinion, but daily undulating periodization is just a general scheme. For those that don't know, regular periodization would be something as simple as a 4-week block where the first week you're doing all 8s on a movement, next week you're doing all 5s, next week you're doing all 3s, next week you're doing all 1s, and then maybe you rinse and repeat or you do a different exercise or whatever it might be. Daily undulating periodization, although it's not concurrent periodization, basically you're training multiple rep ranges of the same lift in a week. So if you have 3 squat days in a week, one day might be like medium sets of 3. One day might be heavy singles, and one day might be sets of 8. And those would be week to week. And those rep ranges would change block to block or goal to goal. And the intensities would fluctuate as well. But it's basically training multiple rep ranges in the same movement. Auto-regulation, basically, all that means is that within a day, training session, there is giveaway or there is instruction in ways that you can regulate the load or the movement you're doing. So and basically because we're human, because there's external stress factors in our life, because everything isn't a computer, so you don't just plug in A and always get B. Sometimes you're not always your strongest. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days, depending on your sleep, food, etc. And so auto-regulation is a way for you to adapt on the fly to adjust your training. RPE is the most common one, rate of perceived exertion. You use a rating system to rate your sets. Instead of using 300 pounds every day or every Tuesday for your bench, some days you might feel stronger, and so why not use 315? And some days you might feel a little weaker or not as strong or less prepared, so you might use 290 pounds. An auto-regulation is a way to do that. So my opinion on both of those is they're great. They're great tools. Most of my programming in general is some form of dupe, if you want to call it that. And auto-regulation, I don't necessarily use RPE a ton. I think it's obviously super valid. I like to use it as kind of like a journal. You rate it afterwards. But what I do is I typically will give a range of sets or a range of reps for you to auto-regulate. So if you do 4 to 6 sets of 7 to 9, you auto-regulate within there. If it's a good day, you're doing 5 sets of 9. If it's a bad day, you're doing 3 sets of 7, if that makes some sense.
And all of this stuff is stuff you have to try for yourself, I think, and see what works for you. And different things work differently at different times, I think, for everybody. Depending on your level of motivation or how banged up you are at the time, or just how much sleep you're getting, or all those things, they factor in. Yeah. And the best way, to be honest, is the other most common question I probably get, top 5 common over the years, is how do you learn how to program, or how do you learn these things? There are books and resources and podcasts and stuff. But the best way is just to get a coach. Get a coach, ask questions, and analyze how they coach you. And there are some coaches that, more typically use percentages, and some coaches that more typically use RPE. But majority of good coaches right now, I think, use both. Again, because all these things are just tools. It's not like cars or something. It's not like, all right, every door has a screwdriver and every engine has a socket. Like, It's not that simple. It's not just A to B, B to B. Some of it just are tools that you kind of have to put together. More like Legos, I guess. It's more like Lego pieces. Sometimes you need a 4-piece. Sometimes you need a 2-piece. And how do you put it together? You can build a tower out of all 4s, or you can build a tower out of all little 2 pieces. These are fucking banging analogies. These are banging analogies. But sometimes you need the 2 and the 4 to build a certain thing, where a wrench only does one thing, The best training system is somewhat modular, is what you're saying?
Yeah. And it like you said, it adapts over time. It adapts to your current phase. It adapts to your personality, not only to your body, because that's another thing. Everyone thinks they're a snowflake, but like most of it has to do with adherence, rather than like, oh, my biceps really do well to force sets of force. My biceps, like, no, dude, our biceps tissue, like, yeah.
And how would you ever know?
Yeah, our genetic makeup is slightly different. Our muscle fiber makeup is slightly different, but it's not going to be like that. Get any questions, you little nerds in chat?
How's everybody holding up? There's a question.
Oof, you don't want to ask these nerds that. There's wine. They're all a bunch of drunks. Okay, Prof has got a question for Jim.
Yep.
Oh, Prof, you're stupid, dude. He said, I already know his answer, Prof. He said dogs or cats.
Oh, dogs.
Professor Lefter is, my boy Prof, is the only human on Earth. I understand that if people, I understand people are like scared of dogs, fearful.
Yeah.
I understand if people don't love animals, like, nah, they're kind of hairy, they're kind of dirty. I don't want like one in my house. But I was shopping for a dog live on Twitch, and I pulled up the cutest dogs you've ever seen in your life. And Professor Lefter said, "You."
Oh, he's not a dog person?
No, but like, there's no such. That's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot be a dog person and not like be like El Diablo's kid. Like you're evil if you look at that cute little puppy. Look, and if you guys want to get like deep, I was mauled by a dog when I was in 4th grade. Like, I had 22 stitches in my face.
Oh my God!
It bit me twice. There's a wrinkle on my nose, scar. They're all mostly in my beard, but it bit me here and then it bit me here. 22 stitches. And I still, I like dogs.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to treat them. I was super precautious. I watched some videos. I read some books like on how to, read a dog, talk to a dog, et cetera, et cetera. But man, how do you hate a dog?
This was on.
Yeah. Show that to Prof. He'll ewe it. I don't know how you can show it to him. He'll ewe it.
I don't know how to give it to you.
He'll ewe it.
That one?
Can you see it?
Got it?
He'll ewe that thing.
That is a puppy that is half Labrador and half Golden Retriever. That's got to be one of the cutest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's just saying the cute. And then his personality is even cuter, but some humans out there, and I get it, like, I don't like a lot of foods that people like, and so people judge me for that.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't like mayonnaise. People are like, mayonnaise is so good. Put that on my sandwich. Or I don't like...
I'm a taker or leaver on mayonnaise.
I don't like cream cheese.
I don't like cream cheese?
Yeah, see the reaction? People like cream cheese on a bagel.
That's
you're missing out.
Andrew show.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like these things.
What do you want on your bagel? Like butter or...
butter, plain, or peanut butter. Peanut butter's a hit.
I'm okay with peanut butter, but it can be, the whole thing can be very dry. It depends on the bagel.
Yeah, bagels for some reason, are they the king of breads? They're so good.
I think sourdough is the king of bread.
Sourdough is really good. But me and Connor actually went over this lately. A sandwich sliced sourdough sometimes doesn't do it.
Oh no! Well, if you get sourdough from a place like Seattle or from San Francisco, whatever, that's super sour.
And I feel like with a sourdough loaf, you have to rip it.
Yeah.
The clean cut, I don't know. We had a sandwich sliced sourdough. We might still have it at the house, and it was very like, meh, take it or leave it.
Yeah, it can be a little boring.
And bagels obviously can be stale. Not that flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
You could burn those suckers. But a bagel, like a bagel sandwich, bagel with cream cheese, might I say, or peanut butter, or just by itself, just a toasted, so good. Or a nutty bread, like a whole oat.
Like a Dave's Killer Bread kind of bread?
Yeah, that's not bad, but I was thinking even more like you go to a bakery in Seattle. And you just get some,
like a
nuts.
Walnut.
Yeah, all
bread.
that. Yeah, the little seeds on there.
A walnut sourdough. That kills.
I agree. My boy Chili in here, and he's a big boy, big old football player. Shout out to him. He's going to Ithaca to play football. The bagel, the most versatile. It might be the most versatile.
It's pretty. Yeah. Well, you can make a sandwich out of it.
Delicious sandwich.
I would prefer a bagel sandwich over a croissant sandwich any day.
I might say this one, and we might get some heat here. The croissants are kind of overrated.
Ugh, you haven't had good croissants.
I've had a good one. I've had some. I'm not saying I don't want it, but I feel like I'm a texture guy, and it's kind of like a good one. I feel like has a cotton candy texture.
Outside crunchy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's like kind of dissolvey.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I need some meat.
Well, I love them, but I've had any number of bad ones because I will try them. It's like, well, that one looks good. I'll give it a shot, and then
I don't know. Or chocolate in them. I don't know if I get that.
I mean, I will eat those. Connor's nodding his head.
I'm not. Look. Let's rewind this thing. If there's a platter of croissants at the beginning of this podcast, they're no longer going to be here at the end of the podcast. I'm eating all this, but you need a hierarchy of these things.
I made crackers twice last week. I'd just like to say that I got made very plain crackers that didn't really do anything for me, and they were way a lot of work. And then I got a recipe for rosemary crackers.
Yeah.
That took me, the whole thing was 20 minutes.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
Then, including the baking.
I have some like psychopathic tendencies, I think. Not necessarily how I treat humans or society, but mostly in my food tastes. And I could eat just regular crackers with nothing on it, probably for 3 hours straight.
Well, see, that's a thing about making crackers is that you're only ever making so many. So
that's true.
It's fewer than a box.
Yeah.
Anything is fewer than a box. And so if you get nuts and just really go for it. Today, we're recording this on 420, and so I'm sure that people are eating chips and crackers.
Yeah,
and
kids, be safe out there. What I don't get, we can switch topics here. We're just wilding. Why does 420 have a holiday? And I've heard multiple stories, but I don't know if any of them true.
There is a story. I don't know. I don't know it, but there is a story. I've heard it.
Like, there's no beer holiday. I guess there's Oktoberfest. I just think it's
kind of a beer holiday.
Even if you, I guess you just have
a schnitzel holiday and a pretzel holiday and
I guess if you have to relate things, right? You relate marijuana to the alcohol industry just because, at least in California, they're treated very similar now. I just don't know if there's and I'm all for it. I'm all for you doing what makes you happy in moderation that doesn't hurt anyone else. But, and maybe this is the old school Mike and me or the fuddy-duddy Mike and me, I don't think there needs to be a holiday for these things. Like whatever stoner ass is listening to this right now, you don't need a holiday to smoke. You're smoking every fucking day.
That's true.
Like you need to celebrate it all of a sudden?
Yeah, the Oxford Dictionary says that it started in the 70s, 420, apparently coined as a code word by high school students in San Rafael in 1971. San Rafael, that is,
Bay Area,
about an hour from here, a little more than an hour from here, with reference to 4:20 p.m., the time that they regularly met to try to locate an unattended plot of cannabis plants.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
How 420 became Weed Day. I mean, it's not a national holiday, but it's certainly
basically
let's say it's celebrated though.
I heard the mayor of San Francisco was making a
hello.
Whoa, hey.
There we go.
I heard the mayor of San Francisco was announced, like, don't come here. Like, if she has to address it, that's pretty official to me, right?
Yeah.
She said, like, because everyone goes to, was it Hippie Hill? Or is that Santa Cruz?
Oh, that's Santa Cruz, I think.
What's the big park? The Full House Park.
The Full House Park is not Golden Gate Park. The Full House Park is...
it's more in.
It's...
whatever.
Palace of Fine Arts.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And they'll just go there and smoke pot.
Yeah. By the lake there.
But I get
that reflecting pool.
Oh, we got another story here. No, it's older than that. They say the original bill that passed medical marijuana in California was called the 420 bill, but that's not what caused 420. That was based on 420.
Yeah, that's
420 is before that.
They also try to say
I think it's the opposite. I'm pretty sure 420 was a thing well before medical marijuana. I'm pretty sure 420 has been a thing.
Oh yeah, since the 70s. Well, this
forever.
is the 70s, 71.
Yeah. But when was medical marijuana? 90s?
That it started?
Yeah, like legally, the bill.
Depends on where you are.
We should have done a 420 episode. I'm an idiot. We should have just called some stoners.
We still could.
Yeah, we could. I don't know that many.
I don't know me either.
I don't know that many.
I don't know many people who smoke either. I mean, I know more edible people, but that's just my age group, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess somebody like in the industry would be,
There was a guy that used to work at the store over here who had probably been at least 6 or 8 years ago now. He told me one day, I was like, yeah, this is like my last day. It's like, oh, like, what are you going to do? He's like, there's no testing for foreign substances in medical marijuana. And so I'm going to a company that is trying to establish that. So they test for like mold and spores and all that kind of stuff. And, pesticides and all that business.
Yeah, it's semi-unregulated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we need Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg would be a great guest right now.
I don't have his number. Oh. I got a new phone and I lost.
You never know. You never know. Like if I DM that dude, he may answer. You just never know. Some people I feel like are in the DMs a lot, and some people are not.
I feel like
Snoop
Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg are on a Zoom chat right now.
Probably
smoking it up.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, right? Because it's not legal wherever she is.
I don't know.
Where is she? Connecticut or something?
It could be. I don't know where's legal. Where is weed legal?
Not that many places. Denver or Colorado, Washington, Oregon, us. I think
it's actually more than half the country now.
Medically, right? Not recreationally.
Where is
Martha's gonna tell me she's doing it for medical reasons? Come on, Martha.
Okay,
Come on, Martha.
Here's the poop right here. So it is legalized in Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, Alaska, Colorado, Illinois,
Michigan, recreationally in Michigan.
Yeah, Vermont.
That kind of blows my mind, to be honest.
Massachusetts,
Boston, I knew
Maine,
that.
And then it is
not Hawaii.
Hawaii is mixed. It's decriminalized and medical is
you would
legal.
think Hawaii would lead the way, bruv.
So that's
I got my wrong bro term.
So medical and decriminalized. We're seeing, like I said, Hawaii, North Dakota, Minnesota, New Mexico, Missouri, Ohio.
Florida's decriminalized, not legal.
New York, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut.
Where's
Delaware,
Ben and Jerry?
Vermont.
And it's legal.
Maryland. And then medical, just medical, is a shade of green that I don't recognize on here. I don't know. And then decriminalized. It's fully illegal. It's easier to say where it's fully illegal, which is to say Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Kansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I never understood why it was illegal in the first place.
I've heard the story goes something about newspapers, paper.
Yeah, I mean,
and
William Randolph Hearst.
Yeah, and
because he bought a bunch of forest land
to
make newspapers, and then it turned out that hemp makes better
paper,
and cheaper newspaper, and he didn't really want to.
Yeah, but that's a different plant completely, right?
Yeah,
or not completely, but a different strain.
Different strain.
Like there's apple trees that don't have apples on them, kind of deal.
Yeah, like mock apples.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be legal everywhere. I wonder what there are probably numbers on the how well we've done tax wise from it.
Not as well as expected because we still have such a hardy black market in California. Yeah, like we're
the capital of marijuana.
We're gonna have to crack down more on the black market before the tax projections really hit the way they're supposed to.
There's a good documentary. What's it called? Murder Mountain.
That sounds familiar.
Amazon Prime, I believe, and they kind of talk about that. I think they follow one dude who gets lost up there, and then Humboldt County, for those that don't know, which is pretty actual miles, very close to us. It takes a little bit longer to get there because of the freeways.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of marijuana. I've heard numbers like 70% of America's marijuana comes from there.
It's so much of a black market there.
Yeah, well, that's where it all was for years. It's been there since the 80s and 90s, I've heard. And this documentary, I think, states that it basically became the marijuana capital simply because it was isolated, hard to get to, and a lot of forest around. It's kind of the redwoods, for those that know, like the famous redwoods. It's kind of out in there. A lot of movies were filmed up there, like Jurassic Parks and the Star Wars, the scene with the Ewoks, like those kind of trees, those kind of vibes. That was in Northern California. And so people go up there, and so the documentary goes into part of the legalization and when these guys they interview a couple of the big crop owners and who's going to legalize, try to make it real, and some of them were just like, no, we're not gonna, we've been doing it this way forever and we're not gonna do it anymore. I'm like, man, I get it, you feel like they're taking your livelihood away, but what you've been doing is illegal. You've been doing it illegally.
It's like moonshine.
Yeah, and you've been doing it for years, and so like, come on, man. Like the rest of us are paying taxes. Like, why don't you pay some taxes?
Yeah,
you're making a lot of money, I bet.
So you're for the most part driving on roads when you go.
Yeah, you're screwing the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's not like the government's screwing you. Like, you can see, I see that, but you're screwing the rest of us who are paying taxes.
Yeah.
You're customers.
Yeah.
Well, not me. I'm not buying illegal marijuana, but you know what I'm saying.
We got any more questions, sir?
The Emerald Triangle. No, they're just ranting about marijuana now. These guys, just a bunch of nerds out here.
We got deep into the marijuana.
It's good. The 420 episode, I didn't even think about it. You don't have to answer it, but Professor wants to know your experiences with marijuana. Hemp is the most 50% facts episode there can be. Yeah, for sure. Hemp has no THC. Yeah, I know. That's what I said. I said it's a different plant, bro.
It's a different
plant. Come on, man. We're right. Look, just because we dumb ourselves down. Look, there's some comments going on the internet, and people are like, Mike doesn't know anything about these conversations. I'm asking questions and speaking about things to be entertaining. I'm not sitting up here reading from a script from an essay that I wrote myself last night that you guys are maybe used to listening to newscasts. 50% facts is a joke. More than half of the guests we had on here, more than half of the topics we covered on here, Jim and I could probably answer pretty damn good ourselves. Not saying I play stupid, but I'm answering questions or saying things in ways to either be entertaining or throw a little underhand pitch alley-oop to our guests so they can dunk it. We have guests on here because they're knowledgeable, and a lot of them are more knowledgeable than me. But that doesn't mean I can't answer the questions, right? When we're talking about like fitness equipment, I understand a lot about fitness equipment. I'm just not talking about it. And I'm not going to just go out there. I'm not a marijuana expert, but I'm not going to go out there and just state facts either. The difference is when you're over here in internet land and you're just typing away with a profile with no picture, opposed to someone who's on camera and getting thousands of viewers listening to you, I like to be kind of in this neutral zone where I don't just say like 100% marijuana is illegal because of racism, 100% marijuana is illegal because this dude wanted to start a newspaper. You just kind of have conversation. You let it flow. You mention some things. I'm not saying that I know or do not know that hemp has THC in it because I've never grown marijuana. I'm never gonna grow marijuana. I've never grown hemp. I'm never gonna grow hemp. So no, I'm not a hemp expert. But it doesn't mean I'm an idiot, All right? Put that on rewind. Listen to it again. Once you get to this part, do it one more time.
Someone on YouTube upset Mike, I think is what we're saying here. But yeah, no, okay, so back to the question. In high school, yeah, like and then like my second year of college, I was at Long Beach State. Yeah. Technically, well, it's sort of my second or third. I went to 5 schools undergraduate. I was a vagabond in terms of my bachelor's degree. And for a while, my roommate and I had a couple extra roommates that were part of his band. They were also members of or students at Long Beach State. And one of them typically paid in weed. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I got to be about 23. And I was like, nope, I'm just like done.
Yeah.
I'm just done. It made me paranoid after a while. And it's like, it wasn't the point that it stopped being a good feeling.
Yeah. I feel like alcohol gets like that too for a lot of people.
It can. And I will, in my age group, I will say this. In my age group, it is very popular to use it for sleep.
Sure.
And I'm not going to say that I have not done that. But those of us who have done that do it in such a way that you never feel high. So, because you're sleeping through it. So,
right.
Those of us who experience anxiety, have been known to use it that way.
Something I do know nothing about, because there's not like a lot of research on it too, besides just like influencers spitting you guys a bunch of trash, is CBD, and it does interest me. It highly interests me. I wish people would do some research, or we could figure some things out. Obviously, there's a bunch of people spewing a bunch of garbage, and when they give you one item supplement that gives you results from back pain to anxiety to
it's a lot.
Sleep to when one thing is a cure-all, it's probably not right. Working is probably more marketing, but I do think there's probably some applications for CBD in some people's lives, and I would be interested. I don't think it cures anxiety. That just doesn't really like. It doesn't like comprehend to me now that I know more about anxiety. Obviously, going to like specific therapy for anxiety, like it just doesn't comprehend how that works, because it's all like a thought process. It's all like ingrained in you. It's worries. Obviously, worry is the same word, or fear is another word. That's really what anxiety is. A fear of like expectation, or a fear of the future. So like, how the hell is a substance going to fix that? Would a substance block your thought process? Yeah, it's called being drunk, and you can't be, like, that's not fixing issues, right? So to say like CBD cures anxiety or helps anxiety, or just that's already like debunked in my head, and I wish it would be debunked for y'all, be debunked for y'all. You know what I mean? But like, it just doesn't make sense to me, because then I could say the same thing, like, yo, 3 shots of whiskey, cures all anxiety. Cures depression. Yeah. It cures your pickiness with good-looking humans. You take an ugly one after that.
Beer goggles.
It takes away all your standards.
Yeah.
You forget your bank account. It doesn't matter when you're broke. 3 shots of whiskey takes away all anxiety of being broke. Yeah, that's all true, but you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and all those things are going to come right back, right? And so if CBD hypothetically does fix those things, it hypothetically masks those things. Which I don't believe that anyways, but it's never going to fix it. There's no way to fix that.
Yeah.
Well, there is ways, but it's not through that. It's through internal work. I said this for a long time. People get all mad because they think I'm talking about vaccines, but when I'm saying don't look to external solves to fix an internal issue.
Right.
And I'm not saying vaccines and medications, all those are great, but
I've tried to use CBD both topically and orally, and I haven't seen that it ever did anything for me. I don't know if you're supposed to use it more consistently than I ever did or whatever. I had the same experience with kratom, which I thought was just nothing, literally nothing, like maybe less than nothing.
Kratom is scary, man. First thing, I never heard about kratom. Then I heard about kratom. I Googled that thing, and just clicking on the websites and seeing how sketchy the websites are that talk about kratom, I'm like, I don't know, man.
And there was a time that we were without our what's the word I'm looking for? Approval. We were kind of forced into a position of doing some ads for kratom, and I didn't think it was. I mean, the money was fine, but I just wasn't down with it because I didn't think it really did anything, and I still don't. Yeah. I mean, it may do stuff.
No, it does something, I think. Yeah, you didn't feel anything. I think it does stuff, but I don't think it does good stuff.
I felt nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I didn't even try it.
It was
too scared.
Completely useless.
Too scared.
Too snake oily, and that's really the point. Like, if you're like, legitimate drugs might work on more than one condition, like you know, ones that go through FDA approval process and all that stuff, they may work on more than one thing, an off-label use or even an on-label use where yes, it does this thing, but because it does this thing this way, then it'll solve another problem,
right? Or cause another problem. So that's the other thing with all these miracles, right? They never talk about negative results. How many medication commercials have we seen? And the last 15 minutes is the fastest talking human on the planet. It's Twista, the rapper, and it's Eminem, and he's going nuts about
Daveed Diggs.
Yeah, about all the negative side effects, right?
Yeah.
How many negative side effects have they mentioned about CBD?
I haven't heard any.
Right. So if something's going to fix something, whether it be epilepsy or diabetes or blood pressure or real depression, all of those medications that actually do either mask, we could use whatever word you want, let's not hop into semantics, mask or fix these real issues, have triple the amount of possible negatives. Because anything that shows, anything that really works has repercussions in life.
Yeah.
Your words, if you have real meaningful words, are going to have repercussions. Your medications, your actions, your exercise, your diet. If you're really in these things, now you're going to have some issues. Fuck you and your CBD.
What else?
Yeah, chat saying a couple people. I used some alcohol, help to deal with my anxiety, and it just made it worse. Yeah, because you're just masking things. Alcohol, well, even though they don't really say alcohol fixes anything, loads of repercussions. The basic one: hangover, dehydration, lack of sleep, right? Lack of rest. Anything you put in your body that has a real effect is going to have possible effects that you don't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or it's all placebo. There's no miracle pill that just only does good.
Yeah, people get side effects from placebos, which is crazy. But
the human mind is complex.
Yeah,
the human mind is complex. I don't know what else we got. Dan's still in chat. What's up, little buddy? But what about people that don't experience the hangover, dehydration, and then just develop dependencies? I think people, I don't know, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine people that don't have hangovers, quote unquote, are just not reacting to them, right? Like it might not feel as bad as other people, or it might just be more numb to sensation, or
maybe they just feel like shit all the time.
Right, or they just begin to drink again. I don't think, and that's the dependency, right? Is like they start to drink again to get rid of the hangover, and they're on a constant buzz. I don't think that there's a human that can drink a bunch of alcohol and not like get dehydrated. I think it's physiologically impossible.
I, at some point, figured out like kind of how to drink, to the point that I don't get hangovers for the most part, and I don't drink a ton either. But it also kind of depends. Like IPAs right now will give me a headache.
Yeah, I get hungover over one beer sometimes, and then sometimes I'll have like 5 whiskeys and not feel it all, or 5 beers and not feel it. Yeah, it's all just random. I think for me at least. So what you're saying is a miracle drug seems authentic. Leave out the marketing and speak on pure results. Yeah, I mean obviously that's the goal with everything. Look, I'm huge into marketing. I love business. I like marketing. And I've talked about this multiple times. I think I'm huge about money. I love making money. I love building businesses. I love building communities. I'm not going to lie and say I don't like making money. I like nice things. And I like a certain lifestyle. But I think you can do that while still not lying. And you can be very marketable while still not lying and believing the product and building a product or a company that you truly believe in. There's a lot of ways to make money, and I just choose to only pick ones that I truly believe in. And if you truly believe in what you're doing, then the marketing solves itself. I never have to lie. It's that simple. You never have to lie. What do you guys feel about the people that praise fitness, health, and wealth on the backside of personally abuse alcohol and drugs for the clout? I think that's everybody probably. I think most people that are probably so deep into things are either lying to themselves and not that deep into it. I've had these conversations a lot. The first, it sounds like kind of psycho. We'll go deep into my brain. The first reason I really went into therapy this last year is because I started to look at myself and I related a lot to a lot of these people you hear with issues. I related a lot to like a Robin Williams or like a unscratchable itch, like a Michael Jordan or something. And I felt so similar to how they speak. I've always talked about having a chip on my shoulder, but I don't have like the typical reasons to. It's not like my dad left me, or it's not like I had all these issues, but I don't have a good way to cope. I don't have a cope. Let's not even say a good way. Where you hear these people, right? They're sadly abusers, or they're alcoholics, or they're high all the time. I was like, I have nothing. Like I numb my brain a little bit with video games, probably, or maybe I'll get a little extra lazy and eat some ice cream and lay on the couch for a couple hours. But those are like fairly normal human behaviors. I didn't have a cope, and I'm like, something is probably going to explode in a couple of years if I don't handle this. Like I need to find this fix with my anxiety and kind of depression, and it was counterbalanced by this just urge and unquenchable thirst to be better. And, you know, sadly, Robin Williams took his life. And these things got really dark. These things got really dark. And everyone has these answers. Drugs. You hear Prince or Michael Jackson or whatever. I'm like, fuck, I'm fucked up. I need to find some shit. I don't know. I don't know where I was going. But point is, I think most people that get to some kind of level in life that our society has deemed to be cool, The Rock, Tom Cruise, big YouTube stars, podcast people, fitness personalities, whatever it might be, have some either borderline or extreme personality disorders. And when you have those, I think they're not self-aware. I think you really dive into alcoholism, steroid abuse, anorexia, image issues, obviously, ego issues, obviously, and it's very common in the fitness industry, I believe, because of how intuitively selfish it is. Whether you're a bodybuilder and maybe you're doing it for internal reasons. Bodybuilding, I think, can be really healthy in a way. You're really self-aware. Or it's an image thing and you're just trying to look the best, feel the best, be number one. Powerlifting, same thing. I think there's some people that take it really healthy and I'm improving myself and I'm taking this discipline and I'm translating it into other things in my life. But sometimes it's selfish to prove you're the best, to put the spotlight on me, right? Opposed to other team sports where you just hear stories, and obviously this is all from me viewing in. I'm not in the locker room with Kobe Bryant, and I'm not in the locker room with Tom Brady, and I'm not in the locker room or the heads of powerlifters or bodybuilders. This is 100% observational. But there are a lot more narcissistic reasons to hop into fitness, to hop into YouTube, to hop into Instagram in particular, I believe, where you're just getting attention, comments, and love for the way you look, really. And it's such a selfish endeavor that I'm not surprised that so many of those people have some type of negative issue. It's not normal. It's not normal to want to be 350 pounds with abs. It's not normal. And I'm not saying everyone that's that size or that big has issues. I'm sure there's some that are okay. But it's just not normal to even want that. Like, why? What's the why to all this bullshit, right? And most people's why would tell you an unhealthy why. And we accept it as just it is. Like, yeah, I wanted attention. I got picked on as a kid. Like, that's not healthy. We have some things to unravel here, right? Like, you got picked on as a kid, so now you want to be the biggest, baddest motherfucker on the planet. Like, that's not a healthy mindset. How do we figure that out other ways? And I'm obviously a big proponent for therapy and even just meditation and being self-aware. But I think alcoholism drives into that. Like, why do you have this hunger to get attention? Well, I'm not getting the attention I want, so I'm drinking whiskey every night, or I'm smoking pot every night, or whatever it might be. Obviously, Dan, your question goes way deeper than a lot of things, but it's obviously unhealthy. I think you can break everything down to self-awareness and wanting to truly improve rather than putting on a mask. I think most people put on a mask that they're improving or put a mask on that they're self-aware, but people aren't really working on themselves. And it's hard to talk about these things without sounding like a guru, because these people are so good at marketing. They've twisted this whole industry and sounding like they're authentic and sounding like their true selves, and they use terms like this to make it sound like they're actually paying attention. But how many of those people have actually gone to therapy? How many of those people actually meditate and try to improve themselves, or just talk about this stuff? And so that's where the difference lies for me.
I just want to take a little bit of the mental health thing and spin it around this time of lockdown, quarantine, shelter in place, whatever you want to call it. I've seen a lot of shared memes about, like, if you don't come out of this with a new skill or a new whatever, that you should feel bad about yourself, and that it was always not because you had time, but because
you're just lazy.
Yeah, you lazy, you lack motivation. I don't subscribe to that philosophy. I think that it is an opportunity to learn things, do things, whatever, if you are so motivated to do those things. And at the same time, if you don't, and the best you could do every day is make it through that day, because you're anxious, you feel alone, you've got, I really, really don't understand how people who are entirely alone, like live alone, and don't interact with people. I don't know how they survive that, to tell you the truth.
I feel so bad for my moms.
But if you come through the other end of this and you're not tremendously more damage than everybody around you about what happened, I think you did pretty well.
Yeah.
I think you need to back off on yourself a little bit and not, because the thing is that if you hold yourself to an unattainable standard, basically unattainable meaning like what is your life normally like,
right,
then you just create a situation of personal dissatisfaction and guilt that turns into a downward spiral. Don't do that. Celebrate the things that you can do, that you can accomplish. And if you end up down a rabbit hole of learning something or trying something new that you haven't done before, that is awesome. That's a bonus. That's the bonus. Like, not everybody's going to shoot for the bonus.
Yeah, you said it exactly. Having these expectations of perfectionism is unattainable, and that's why we aim for them, and that's why society's a little skewed here, at least in America, of what is successful, what is good, what is beauty, what is cool. And so if you always see that, you're never going to reach that. You're never going to feel satisfied. You're the one that's going to be fucked up, like I said, and then you're going to end up going somewhere else because you're so full of anxiety and worry of not reaching these goals. And for you to portray that on everybody, if you have a public influence, I think is irresponsible as well. It's part of the problem. It's part of the bigger issue of what we have. Now, personally, I have that issue. I've been in therapy for it. I have a perfectionist mindset. And when people think perfection, they think, oh, you're spending 5 hours on a 1 hour essay. Well, like, that's not necessarily true. That's one form of perfectionism. Perfectionism more has to do with kind of your expectations of yourself and what you see yourself doing. And some of the work can be in your brain, not all the work. Because I always grew up thinking perfectionism means the kid that, I took an essay and I wrote it pretty good in an hour, and that kid spent 24 hours on it, right? They're freaking out about every single period. But that's only one form of it. Some of it's all internal. But I do walk the line with you. I agree with you 100%. It's clearly unhealthy. The issue is just because this thing's so complex, because we're talking about human behavior and human psyche, is that some people then go the other way and use it as an excuse. Like, this is also not an excuse just to be a big, fat, lazy fuck. Because some people are just being a lazy fuck, right? Like you said, I think you be as normal as you can. You find a new normalcy, because our worlds are different right now. Our days are different right now. So you have to find that new normalcy. And yeah, if it's been a lifelong goal to learn Spanish, maybe you do have 2 hours to learn Spanish. Okay, go ahead. But I don't want to learn Spanish. And for you to project onto me that I'm being lazy if I don't learn Spanish right now, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Like, I don't want to learn Spanish. Fuck you. I don't want to get more mobile and do yoga. Fuck you. I don't want to reorganize my kitchen. Yeah. Now, if you let your house just become a mess because you're just being lazy because you can't go outside, well, then go for a walk, come back home, clean your damn house, stop being a mess, right? It is a balancing, and the issue is it's so person to person, because it's the internal conversations that dictate what is healthy for you. Yeah. And that's the issue here. Yeah. That's the issue with the intuitive eating. That's the issue with flexible dieting. That's the issue with working out as opposed to being addicted to exercise. Is it's the actual internal conversations, which none of us see or know. And some of it will represent itself in physical nature, right? We can sometimes see when someone has an eating disorder. Yep. We can sometimes see when someone's addicted to steroids or bench pressing. But it's the internal conversation that's happening, which we cannot judge. We're not psychiatrists. And even a psychiatrist won't judge until a lengthy of meetings with this person, right? They need multiple meetings to really be able to judge and see what that internal conversation is to decide what's healthy. Because if your internal conversation is like, fuck it, Ben and Jerry's, I'm going to watch Avengers 8 times in a row, maybe you do need to go learn Spanish, right? But if you're someone who, like me, you need to learn how to kind of unplug and be like, all right, me and Jim had some cool projects on the way. Can't do it. Me just freaking the fuck out and punching a hole in my wall is not going to help me build this project. Okay, I Twitch stream. All right, I'm going to Twitch stream a couple more hours today. Okay, I got a little weird with my food. I was eating a lot of DoorDash. Let's pump the brakes, Mikey, and I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to cook a little bit more. I'm going to cook just a little bit more than normal. Okay, Mikey, you haven't seen the sun in 7 days. Let's just go for a little bike ride. Let's just go for a little bike ride, right? And that's what the self-awareness comes to play, which, man, I would love a way to be able to quantify how many people are unaware. Yeah. I don't think we could, but man, I used to think it's like 50%. I think like 80% of the world's just autopilot. Yeah. They're just fucking autopiloting.
I think a thing about perfectionism too is not that people don't perform something in the way that meets the standards in their head. I think that largely it means that people never start because they think they won't be able to execute something the way they want to, the way they see it in their head, or they are just too intimidated to ever start. I don't know. It just, my problem with perfectionism is being letting perfect be the enemy of the good, getting something done. Like here's an example, and you can take from it whatever you want. In the probably early 80s, this house, when I did not own it then, they wiped out the garage, and there's literally like 18 inches of garage space because the code says that unless you're going to take the door out, you have to leave 18 inches. I don't know what's behind that, but that's life. So we've been in this house for 20 years, and that area has never been well organized because I had a vision in my mind of the way that it should work. And like, I wanted to replace the doors. I wanted to get like carriage style doors so you could like access the whole thing, and just like drywall up the inside so it's better insulated for the laundry room that's on the other side of it, and store things in there so that they don't like lawn stuff so that it'd be easier to get to or whatever. And then a couple of years ago, my wife and I bought a hybrid car for her, like a plug-in hybrid. And so that's where the plug is, and you have to like open the garage door and all that stuff. And it really was a nightmare. There was just a lot of junk in there. And then like when we had that area remodeled like 11 years ago, shit got thrown in there. It got worse and not better on that side. And finally yesterday I was like, fuck it. I just need to deal with this thing in the way that I can deal with it right now. Like this is as much as I can do. I'm going to use the materials that I have here because I don't want to go to Home Depot. I'm going to like organize things the best I possibly can. I'm just going to clean it out because I have an oak tree in my front yard. And leaves blow in there all the time. They blow in under the seal, whatever. So I did that. It took a few hours. I had to get some help from my son, and it is considerably better. I'm much happier with it.
Is it a perfect garage?
No.
Right.
It is not exactly what I had in mind at all.
Right.
It is a super cheap version. But is it functional? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do I feel good about having done it? Yes.
Yeah.
Tremendously. Yeah. And I would go out there and stand and look at it, and try to turn off the part of my head that says, oh, it should have been like this or should have been like that or whatever. It's like, no, this is what we're doing right now. And we made it better. It's not perfect, but it's better. And you can feel comfortable about better. You can feel okay with better.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit better is better than a little bit worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Or a lot worse.
We're switching topics. You ready, Jim? We got varying degrees of expertise in this one. Okay, Mike. I got a first date in an hour.
Oh, geez.
Taking a girl on a hike. How do I get rid of these nerves? So give me some different conversation topics because I've talked to this girl over the phone for 10 hours. So we ran through some regular ones. Tips on the first date. So first off, Jim's married. He's been married for a very long time.
Very, very long time.
I'm a loser. I don't go on any dates, but I do think I'm a master craft at conversation and charisma, if I do say so myself. So we do actually have a cool episode on dating. From maybe 7 months ago or something. I don't really remember. And there's some tips there that I think are super applicable. And there are things that the more I thought about the conversation we had with this dating expert, that some people naturally do. And one was when you're having a conversation with somebody new, or you're trying to pick them up at a bar or whatever it might be, or a first date where maybe you haven't met, don't turn that thing into an interview. Now, you want to show interest in what they're doing, but even the expert said, and I find it the same, is like telling a story about yourself or something will start a conversation rather than, oh, what's your favorite color? Oh, you like red. What's your favorite food? Oh, you like burgers. Oh, how many siblings you have, right? This just turns into like an interview rather than like kind of telling some stories about yourself. Like, this hike is really cool. I was born in Portland, Oregon, and there used to be this trail. And this one time I went on this trail, there was this rattlesnake. And there was one time this rattlesnake, right? These conversations will more naturally flow. And shout out to Chad. A couple people also said just like kind of be yourself and conversation will happen. I agree with that too. I think those are two keys. Having any kind of script or or premonition going into this thing is probably going to jack it up a little harder. And again, I am no expert in dating. I'm a big old loser that puts my face on the internet that does not go on dates. But I'm decent at conversation and talking to people. And even in an interview style, right, like we do here, yeah, we're asking questions to the expert, but it's often not just like, so what's the best squat rack? And then they answer. Because then, one, it's boring to hear, and two, you give them nothing to kind of punch off of. You need to give them some energy to punch off of. So if you guys go back, I just used the squat rack because we talked to Brian Campbell last week. You kind of lead in those questions, you know?
Yeah, I think that adrenaline is going to give you extra energy in a conversation, and it could possibly be that you're going to say something stupid.
Yeah, it could be good or bad.
And wish that you hadn't said it. But it is completely okay to say, I don't know why I said that. Like I like you and I'm a little bit nervous. I think it's okay to say that you're a little bit nervous in talking to somebody. I mean, it's flattering to have somebody say, you know, I like you enough that I'm a little adrenalated right now.
Yeah. You're a real pretty goyle. I don't know what to say right now.
Yeah. As long as you're not like pervy about it, I think that.
Yeah, if you were talked on the phone for 10 hours.
Yeah, don't be pervy about anything. That's.
Yeah, if you were talked on the phone for 10 hours, you probably got a vibe of each other good enough. Like, that's a good amount of talking, and I think it'll be all right, buddy.
Another thing that proves to be true, and I think that it may actually be in that episode, is that if you were involved in an activity like hiking or whatever, something like that, the conversation flows better.
Yeah. There's things that's what I kind of meant. It's like you have things to relate to, or stuff that's going on, or something that's going to happen. And also, don't be scared of a little silence. It's okay if you're not talking the whole damn time, either of you. It's all right. You're hiking, you're probably out of breath. You probably got some BO, you some trail mix. It's all right to just, chill a little bit.
BO is not the worst thing as long as it's not terrible BO.
Pheromones are supposed to attract your natural mate.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's all I got.
But yeah, you can go back and review those episodes. I can't pull them up off the top of my head right now.
Yeah,
hold on.
But I think the guest name was Trip.
Yeah,
Trip, and it's probably about 7 months ago, about dating. He's got some good tips in there. A lot of it was about like, picking people up, but the general conversation stuff I think has a lot of applicability to a lot of people.
I'm gonna search right here and figure it out.
We'll try to find it out. Oh, that's good. You washed your balls. That's good. That's probably a good even non-date activity that we should probably.
Yeah, it's I don't know the number of the episode, but it's once you find women to talk to, what do you say? With Trip Kramer of Trip Advice. Trip Advice?
Trip Advice.
TRIPP.
Trip Advice. Easy. Talked about marijuana. Talked about daily undulating periodization. We talked about if people are going to go to gyms. We talked about dating. We talked about how I don't play dumb, but you got to ask a goddamn question sometimes without just being a robot. People piss me off sometimes. I think that I am a little bit more irritable. Again, not to like complain because we're all just like locked in our house. Like my life hasn't changed, but I'm spending more time on the internet than I ever have.
Yeah.
Ever have. Like through Twitch and through podcasting. Even though you and I aren't podcasting an obsessive amount. We're podcasting the same, but it's just like all of it together. Like sometimes we would do 3 episodes and then break. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it all together every single day. People's comments, like my filter's gone. I'm just biting people's heads off. Someone says something and I just bit them off. I say, yeah, bro, like get out then. Like you don't want to be here, get out. You got something bad to say, get out. I just don't care anymore. Fuck them.
Yeah.
They're just in like a worst case, you lose a follower. Like whatever, dude. He was rude. And he comes into me real life like, Mike, you were really rude to me. I was like, well, on my end, you were really rude to me. We ain't having it no more. 2020, you're a me. The fuck out of here with your shit energy.
I think that the episode that we did, not the last one, but the one before, where we were, honest about our thoughts about some stuff with somebody that we used to work with. I definitely lost some followers over that, but you know what?
Oh, I don't know if I did. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure that I did, but I don't care. I care, but I don't care.
No, I don't care.
Because I'm comfortable with how we handled it. I'm comfortable with what we said. If you just flatly disagree with us and you don't want to listen to us because you disagree with us, well, that's on you and it's not on us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do agree. If you just don't like me, you should probably not listen to the podcast. But If you're just not listening to the podcast because we have differing opinions, then you probably need to open your mind. And I know we joked about that argument many times. That's what a lot of kooks say when you don't agree with them. Oh, well, you're not open-minded. Well, I'm not going there. I'm just saying, like, it is okay to listen to different people. My boy Chili's got a decent question to wrap it up in the gym stuff, because we didn't talk about this necessarily. My boy Chili thinks that, do you think there's going to be a massive resurgence in gyms after this? Which is a possibility too.
I think that's a real possibility. I don't know. I think that that's true of a lot of things that may not be available as soon as the restrictions start to get lifted. I think that there's going to be a period of time where people can't yet do the things that they used to do, but they have a little bit more freedom, and I think that that's going to build up, and it's going to be like pent up demand for.
I think there's a loose structure for the phases, and I think gyms are in like phase 1 or 2 of reopening.
Well, largely because the owner of Equinox is a big supporter of the president. So
I was gonna say, and I think it is. I see both sides, right? It's obviously a fucking petri dish in that thing, which probably isn't good. But if you're talking about the mental and physical health of most people, that's gonna help first, right? Like, what are you going to do? Open Baskin Robbins and all these people just going to go eat ice cream, get fat? Like, going to a gym will help people feel a little bit more normal, let out some of their energy, and obviously help the physical aspect. So I think it's okay. But the petri dish is wild. I didn't know the political issue, which just goes back to how sad our whole life is, that everything's run by the media and politics, but we'll get to that to another time. I do think there will be another resurgence. I don't know if we talked about on air or off air, but there's some boutiques and streetwear companies that I believe are American, but have satellite stores in China. And as soon as a lot of the things were the lockdown stuffs were taken away, these boutiques and places had record-breaking sales. So although people maybe, I don't know their financial situation, right, because their country's a little bit set up differently than ours, so I don't know the average person there and how bad they're struggling with employment compared to an American, but I think people are going to itch for some normalcy and itch for some splurging, whether, that's a little retail therapy or the gym or basketball courts outside. I do think people are going to flood out in hopefully positive ways.
This is purely anecdotal, but people who are doing actually well online during this, one of my brother-in-law Chris, he owns basically he's the handcuff king of the internet. I've mentioned this before. Discounthandcuffs.com.
There you go, you freaks.
We talked to him yesterday and actually last weekend too. We've been trying to do like a weekly, different combination of family members Zoom meeting, and he said that they are going gangbusters. They're going nuts.
Like kinky stuff, he doesn't know.
Who knows exactly? But I mean, he's sold from everyone, from the federal government on one end too, because he used to be the I don't think he does it anymore, but he used to be the restraint supplier for Guantanamo Bay, all the way down to fetishists and whatever, and
people a little sexually bored and frustrated at home.
He said that two things have really popped off. One of them is they're called spit socks. And if you're...
I've never seen Connor so interested.
Basically, you put it over the head of someone that you're trying to restrain, so that spit doesn't actually hit you.
Yeah.
If they spit, it's just inside their... Yeah. It's inside the...
It's like a black hoodie.
Essentially.
You've seen it. I never knew that was for spit, but I just assumed it was just to disorientate and...
Yeah, no, it's for spit. The other thing is batons. Like police style batons.
I should get one of those.
Selling those out. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what the context. I don't know why these things are so popular. But he also had a retail store, and they closed the retail store clearly. But he's like, the retail store was so much work on our part.
Yeah, of course.
And it was such a small percentage of the profits.
Yeah, and Neiman Marcus, all these huge retailers that do online stuff, but a lot of them are just brick and mortar. They're all really struggling, and our shopping, the malls may disappear. I think
malls
restaurants
are already disappearing.
Yeah,
so.
they are. They for sure are. But restaurants, I get the novelty, meeting friends. Now I love restaurants. The vibe's cool. Movie theaters, same thing. People talk about you can rent it at home. Like, I like going to a movie theater. I really enjoy that.
I do too.
I enjoy that. Some people don't, but yeah, I enjoy that. Gyms, I think, are similar. I think these things are all very similar. Where there is a population that you can do that at home. You can do some push-ups. You can go for a jog. But the community, the vibe, the music, the process of going there, getting ready, let alone the social aspect of making friends, movies, restaurants. I think there's some industries that will perhaps be adjusted, but I could easily see all shopping being online. And everyone's little argument's always been like, well, you don't know how it fits. Like, you just fucking, maybe they have free shipping. You send it back and they ship you the next size. Like, that's not that big of a deal. There's some people do like feeling the clothes. I get it, but I think that population is much smaller than those that enjoy a restaurant, a movie, a gym.
I would bet that a lot of meetings, particularly meetings that are performed on a weekly or monthly basis, like relative to business, are going to end up online. And instead of if it's a monthly meeting, you might meet in person once a quarter.
Yeah.
Because it is so much more efficient to meet remotely. Yeah. In terms of space, in terms of pollution, in terms of time management, because if you just go and turn on a meeting, right, you didn't
your
have
phone,
to,
anything. Yeah.
You didn't have to get dressed to go there. Although I would wear clothes because that's always a good idea.
You never know.
But you didn't have to drive. You didn't have to park. You didn't have to walk into wherever.
Yeah. 100%.
It's tremendously more efficient if that thing matters, then that's what's going to happen. But you can't lose the face-to-face thing altogether, because there's still
gotta be something.
Yeah, there's still like you're saying, getting energy from people. It
does scare me a little bit, because all those things you said are positive. The pollution, the traffic, this and that. But like, one thing, and I'm no psychologist, but one thing people talk about, whether it be mass shootings or drugs or the negative stuff happening in America over the last 4 decades, is lack of community. Mm-hmm. And the more we start to be forced to, at this point, do these things,
be isolated from each other.
We already have a lack of community because everyone's so paranoid and so self-absorbed. I don't know I'm the same one. I'm not pointing to you guys. I'm pointing the finger right at me. I don't know any of my neighbors. I'll wave to them, but I don't know them, right? You don't. Whereas you probably growing up in the 80s, 90s, everybody, like even growing up where I went up, my parents knew all my neighbors. They were friends, or they talked, or they'd bring them coffee or whatever it might be. That's disappearing everywhere. Work stuff starting to disappear. It's always disappeared for me because I worked alone basically. But you know what I mean? Like, you have like a little office, maybe you have a quadrant, maybe you have a team there, and you have community, maybe pick up sports or whatever it might be. You'd find your communities, and yes, you can get communities online and be a part of something, but it is different, I think. So although there are plenty of benefits, again, going back to, if there's benefits, real benefits, there's going to be real negatives. And it is something I think we need to weigh out as a society or case-by-case basis.
It's funny that you should say neighbors. Met the new neighbors across the street yesterday. They haven't moved in yet. Husband and wife, attorney, 2, almost 3 kids. And the guy is wearing an Arnold shirt when I met him yesterday. Nice. So that's the thing one.
Nice.
Thing two, he's jacked. He's pretty jacked. And then he says in the course of conversation, like, I was talking about the fact that I only have an 18-inch garage. Well, they have the full, 1-car garage that was built into the house in the 40s. And he's like, I can't put anything else in here. I'm just going to have a gym.
Nice.
Like, oh, I'm probably going to know you.
Yeah, meathead neighbor.
Yeah. My previous next door neighbor on this side, big gym guy, whatever. Those things. Neighbors over here I would never really talk to.
Yeah. Even one of our neighbors, I always see him in like a Rogue fitness shirt.
Yeah.
I'm too awkward to start conversation. Give him a little wave. Head inside.
All right, shall we wrap this one up?
Ladies and gentlemen on Twitch, streaming in live, appreciate you for hanging out.
Thank you very much. This is my first Twitch appearance. Although my grandson is playing Twitch right now, like right at this moment. But in the afternoons he's streaming a BMX game. So
that's cool. Check it out. Every Wednesday, brand new episodes, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. Check it out, 50% Facts. I'm Salamike, 2Ks, Instagram, Twitter. You know where to find me.
I am at the Jim McDonald on all the social medias. You can follow this show on Instagram and Twitter. 50% facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. And we'll talk to you next week, probably with a guest next time.
You're